Up, everyone? Welcome to the Dr. Fit live stream. Today we have a very special guest, Dr. Jose Labalt, who is a neurologist and who managed to lose nearly 18 pounds in 8 weeks. What's going on, Jose? How you doing today?
I'm good. Thank you for having me today.
For sure, for sure, for sure. So, for those of you who do not know who I am Dr. Mohammed Hamouda. I'm an emergency medicine physician here in South Florida, and I have with me Coach Seif.
Hey guys, you don't know me. I've been around for 25 years in the fitness industry. This is not my hobby, but my profession. I for 20 of those years, I owned, operated, and managed my own brick and mortar fitness club. So I've been through the rabbit hole of having all the trainers and the sales staff and probably tens of thousands of clients at this point. And so, but about a year ago, I went ahead and went online, sold the brick and mortar, went online, and here I am helping you docs in our group and in our private coaching.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Great. So, guys, tonight we have a special story. Jose, not only is he a neurologist, but he is a avid martial artist. We're gonna delve into this, but he does several forms of martial arts. I definitely want to take a class with him one of these days. Not only that, but he is also a father. And I hear also you're getting married soon.
That is true.
Yeah.
Awesome, awesome. Lots of hats that you carry, just like everyone else in this group, but weight loss is still possible. It's possible to be healthy. So Jose, kind of give us the before picture. Like how was life like before Dr. Fit?
So life before was trying to stay fit, or what I thought was fit. I'm gonna say what I thought was fit because for the longest time I thought I had a reasonably decent diet, at least since 2020 or so. And and I do martial arts at least 2, 3 times a week. That's on one side. I still try to stay a little bit active at home. So for the longest time, I thought I was that I was doing good, but yet I started to see my weight creeping up. And actually, it creeped up to my heaviest ever, as a matter of fact. That was over 170. That had been my heaviest. When 10 years ago, I was just at about 150 or so.
Okay, so you noticed like the weight was creeping up over like what, like a matter of 5 years, 6 years? How long did this weight creep up on you?
So it was something that kind of like slowly creeping up. And part of it took me a bit of time to really realize it, because I was wearing, since 2020, I have been using mostly scrubs. So, for those of us who use scrubs are comfortable, but they're loose. So it is easy to grow into them and not notice them.
That's very true. That's very true. Have you ever increased the size?
That I didn't.
You didn't. Okay. So what was it, Jose? What was it the thing that happened in your life where you were like, oof, what's going on? I need to do something about it. Like, what was it that
Because
did?
I would still check my weight and suddenly like, look, I'm still at this level. I thought that I had cleaned my eating, and then still I was not losing weight. I was getting weight, getting medications for different things. And then on top of it, then asthma becoming a little bit of a problem, and I'm mad at myself. So it started to become a problem. So, it's a couple of things creeping in at the same time. It's not comfortable at all.
Right. So you started seeing kind of changes in your life. Like you got some chronic diseases, you had to be put on some medications. You notice, how about like your martial arts?
Oh man, I have been in martial arts. But I would perform, but I would still feel like when I would go sparring, like a round of 3 minutes of kickboxing, I was winded. Like if I ran 3 marathons, I would do one session of ground stuff and I would be feeling it big time. And like my heart rate would speed up like a lot, and my breathing was like, I need to take a moment.
Right. Right. It just kind of
Was that one of the reasons why that kind of prompted you to like, you're not
Yeah.
able to perform because you had mentioned something like that about wanting to achieve at a higher level in martial arts. Can you explain what you were trying to achieve?
Now I'm preparing to get my black belt testing. And so there is a fitness requirement, and yes, there are some modifications for different stuff but still there is a fitness requirement. And I couldn't reach one of them, which was do 50 push-ups. So the whole fitness stuff was within a set time frame. It was gonna be push-ups followed by sit-ups, burpees, and then combinations of different things. And half of the time frame on that requirement would be just on the push-ups, sit-ups, and burpees. And that was like really pushing through to that limit. Like I was getting muscle fatigue even halfway through the requirement of the push-ups alone.
got it. Got it. So you're in a position where like, you identify as like, a martial artist and you want to reach levels in the game, right? Be the top in the game, but your body just wasn't cooperating.
Yeah.
And did you have any other kind of indications in life, like, like what energy levels or anything
Oh
else?
yeah, I would be crashing at lunch. Take the lunch, crashing. I'm not a coffee drinker as it is, but it would take 10 minutes after lunch, that crashing goes out. And at times sitting down on my desk as I'm about to write a note and I'm dozing off.
Hmm.
So I did get all that.
So what was the moment, Jose? So hold on, before that, Docs, if you guys can relate to Jose's uh manifestations of this weight creeping up on you, if you guys can relate to that, give me a relate in the chat and tell us also like how do you feel? Some of our guys who are on here right now, what was your experience at that time? And for those of you who are new to the live stream, also kind of like what are some things you notice in your life that make you say, "Hey, I need to do something about this. I need to fix this weight problem." So Jose, like I guess what made you like how did you come to know about us?
It actually popped on my Facebook at one point. And I was like, okay, let me check this out. Because for doctors, lifestyle for doctors. And one of the thoughts that I had was, well, part of the problem I'm having is I'm having my dinner after workout, because I wouldn't arrive at a time where I felt comfortable eating before my class. So then I would end up having dinner past 8 in the evening. And I was like, that's the reason. And sometimes, yes, sometimes the choices were not the best ones. But even then, it was still, the thought was like, oh, that's the problem. It's the timing of my dinner time. So it was one of those things. And it was one of the things that Coach tackled right on that first call meeting. It's like that first meeting. It's like, no, the diet you cannot be adjusting to the diet. Diet has to revolve around you, around your stuff. You got classes at a fixed schedule that you cannot change. Then you move everything else around that. So you should be able to still lose. Even if you have dinner at 9 in the evening, you should still be able to lose.
Right.
So that was like a aha moment, like you were thinking in your head, like this must not be the problem. Like obviously it can't just be dinner, right? Like we're looking at multiple different, things that, we have to correct. But in your head, were you thinking that that was the only thing that you needed fixing? Was like maybe
I thought
you're
that was
eating
the
too
main
late?
thing that needed fixing. I mean, think I had undergone several things before, right? I had gone on different programs, at least about 3 or 4 of the different programs.
And how those go for you?
Uh so I
Don't hold
would
back, man. We want to
I
know.
would no, I would like, for example, take the P90X. I did P90X. When I did P90X 10 years ago, it worked. I'm not gonna tell you it didn't. It worked, but there were 2 issues there. One, I ended up doing at that time I was at certain days doing the equivalent of 2 P90X sessions at a time. So
You're spending a lot of time in it, doing
I
it.
was blasted at the end, and not even a week and a half into it. One day I was in residency and I came back from wards and I sat down and I said, let me take a short nap. Short nap became that I didn't get up to class afterwards.
Yeah, that's, I mean, obviously a lot of grueling exercise to keep you there, right? But let me ask you, but you're saying 10 years ago, but 10 years ago, as you indicated, you were already at kind of like your ideal weight, correct? Or were you trying to lose weight and you lost weight with P90X
So
and just
and
weren't able to
that
maintain
in
it because of the
before,
exercise?
so I was trying to get on a better weight still, and then, but my issue with programs like P90X had always been the diet.
Right.
So that's what I was trying to get to it,
Gotcha.
because I did P90X and it worked, but my issue with the
Yeah.
P90X was the diet.
Yeah.
Right.
Did
And the
you
interesting
stop
thing
doing the
too is that
P90X?
Oh
Sorry,
yeah,
Juan.
that's
I
what
You
I'm saying.
stopped
stopped it.
it.
Why is that?
I couldn't keep with the diet. I found it tremendously restrictive. And then the way that they made it seem, if you don't do that diet with it, then you're not getting results.
Mm.
And
So it
it
didn't work for
was,
you.
and it was not able, and I was not able to maintain the pace for the P90X.
Right.
It gets to a point when doing 2.5 hours of workout becomes very restrictive if it is every day. 1, 2 days in a week, maybe. One day a week, most doable. But
Not to
three
that level,
days,
huh?
not to that
Yeah.
level. It was too much because what
Yeah.
I was doing, I was training martial arts and everything. I
Yeah.
did several years later, I did Insanity.
Right.
And it was, again, same. I was doing
Same thing.
good, but workouts started to finish the phase 1. And even though I was seeing progress, it was slow, much slower than I have seen right now. But it was the same problem. It was part of the issues were the diet. And then when you finish one part of the Insanity, when you go into the second part, the workout's double in time almost. So then they sell you this idea, oh, you don't need to do 3 hours of workout, but it's really not a system that adapts for everyone, and
Right.
especially not for us physicians for a busy schedule.
Right. And that's what we see a lot,
Mm.
Jose,
Mhm.
and I'm victim of this too, right? You go about trying to implement strategies that will not work on the long term. There is no way any doctor here, right, can work out 2 hours a day and sustain that for life, right? With our busy schedule. And like, are you really going to do that when you're in your 60s, 70s, 80s, 50s, right? You can't outdo a bad diet. You can't
I
outdo
don't
a
even do that.
right? You can't outdo a bad lifestyle. So that's what I see like a lot. There's a difference, right? It's this. You had lots of failures in the past, right? I've had lots of failures with all the different regimes that I tried. But the problem is with what we're trying. We're trying to pick a solution that is not in line with our doctor lifestyle. So Jose, when you hopped on the call with Sif, right? You were in a position where you're like, man, I need to make a change. I need
I
to
need to
make
make it.
So I hopped on a call with Steve, and see if he mentioned something to me earlier. I want to see what you remember. But like when you were at that point where you had to make the decision, do I join the program or not? What was going on in your mind? And then we'll get Steve's perspective because he remembers it distinctly.
I was on the process like, I don't know if it's gonna work, but I wanna hear this because I don't have anything to lose at that time. Uh, is this another? Sorry, coach, for the comparison, but I gotta do it. This
It's
is
all good.
another Octavia,
Oh, Optavia. That's all right, man. That's all good.
and
Yeah.
or what am I gonna do on this? So I'll join it. Let me see what it is about. So I was curious because you know it's very peculiar to cater specifically to physicians, and it's not easy with the different lifestyles of physicians. Now, physicians, like in my case, I get my office receives food at least 2-3 times a week from reps, and half of the time it's not the healthiest. Not at least 2-3 times a week from so. It's definitely not the healthiest stuff many times. Handful of times it is, there you get some good choices. It's but definitely most not the healthiest the time it's actually stuff that it's either very salty also, or it's not the best choices around. So it becomes very challenging to balance all that aspect. So before I jumped in the coach, my closest experience to a more regimented aspect was actually Octavia. And then in that aspect, that was a little bit challenging because their concept was interesting, but it was so difficult to apply. You really don't have an accountability person there, or very little accountability person for that matter. And you end up stuck on supplements. And at that time, I was scared of even eating at times outside, and I was not enjoying eating.
Yeah, and what I hear from the docs a lot about Optavia is that if they stop their supplements, right, they stop losing weight or they gain their weight back. So a lot of this was focused with that company, like, and this one thing we, tell you, like, it's not, we're trying to sell you on any supplements or anything, right? But these companies, they're heavily dependent upon you guys purchasing products, right? And then sticking to that type of lifestyle to keep it off. And for many people, obviously, as you said, mentioned to me on previous calls too, that it's not sustainable for most people. You're looking to eat real foods across the board. So, question, Jose, at that end, right? So, this is what I remember. I was telling Mohammed, I was like, yeah, Jose was one of those where I wasn't sure if he was going to get started because you took a long pause, my friend, when I said, so you ready? And you're like, you thought it over, man. You're punching numbers in your head. You're trying to think whether I do it, but then you're like, let's do it. But I swear that I think it was like 10 minutes. No, it was like a couple minutes, but it was a while you pondered. So do you remember that?
I do.
And so what made you like jump into the water and say, you know what, I'm gonna do it?
And at that time, it's like, okay, so if it's not gonna be if it's gonna teach me how to use better my fluids, how I can do things better without having to stick to a very rigorous schedule, a very limiting factor, and that's one of the main aspects. And
Right.
my
Or not kill you with P90X, right?
exactly, not kill me with P90X. No,
Right.
but look, what, because this is very striking part. Okay, two things that I had with Octavia. It's one, one day I was trying to take a walk around my neighborhood with my kids. My son at that time was in the time of I want to do the bicycle, and he would be on bicycle and I would be walking. But suddenly he will start dashing, and I was at that phase on the Octavia where they tell you don't start very strenuous stuff. So you know how bad it is to feel dying, running after your kid to keep him from dashing out,
Right.
and be scared of actually getting hurt because the nutrition was already in that process where it's kind of, it's not the best yet, but it's not like, it's not so bad, but
Wasn't
it's not the
optimal yet,
best yet.
right? When you
Steve,
were on,
Steve, can you
yeah.
give us, like, for those docs who aren't completely familiar, can you just give us like a 10-second kind of what is Optavia and what can it be compared to?
Like any kind of meal supplement replacement program, right? So they do have their recommended protein shakes and bars, and then almost like Nutrisystem, I believe, like, have a shake for breakfast, have a shake for lunch, and then a sensible dinner type of, protocol.
Got it.
And yeah, and Jose will confirm that, but
Not
yeah, that's
not
how
real,
it's kind of,
not real foods, not something you'd
no,
find in the
it's not,
pantry, not something you'd find out in the farmland or
yeah,
in
they make a
grandma's
ton on the,
house or anything like that, right?
right, no, yeah, no, nothing that, yeah, exactly. When you travel, if you forget it, oh, you're screwed, right? But
Right.
like, yeah, so I mean, again, those, and it's just a new name for a lot of different companies. Like I said, I've been doing this for 25 years, so there's just a ton of companies like that, right?
And
You have
Jose,
to sustain the weight with protein or
right.
supplements, I should
And
say.
Jose, thanks for bringing that up, man, because I think one thing you mentioned was like, is this really different from anything I tried in the past? Like, is this really a community? Like, I've never seen a program that was specifically targeted to docs, right? Because, like, we're looked at, we're the pillar, we're the people who are supposed to be helping everyone else, right? So that's what I always
Yeah.
tell docs. This program, yes, can't be compared to anything you've tried before because it literally does not exist, right? It does not exist. Like, we're one of the first groups. I don't know, at least I'm not aware of any other doctor specific groups, male doctor specific groups, right? And one thing you mentioned was like the accountability, right? So Jose, tell me, like, I mean, you didn't come in as someone who didn't do anything. I mean, you came in as someone who's regimented enough to do martial arts, right? And you had some sort of knowledge of like how to be a high performance martial artist, but still, right? There were things that you learned and accountability that needed to be had. So, like, tell us, so you joined the program. How was it like? What was your experience? And what is life post Dr. Fit? Not even post, because you're
So,
still in the program, which we'll talk about later.
so the coach told me, okay, so for the next couple of weeks, you're gonna eat your usual. Just want you to take pictures of your food. You're gonna post it and tell me what you ate. So I'm gonna teach you how to handle this by eye. You don't have to be waiting stuff. My fiance would be like that. I'm very anal when it comes to that.
So the picture method. So I'm hearing simplicity. Oh,
I think,
Jose's paused.
Jose, I think you're
You
frozen.
got someone checking out. Dude, it's like, okay, this is going on. Tell me what's happening there. And I went from just eating to understanding how the food changes or how the food affects me on a day to day. How I can still make choices where I can enjoy a piece of cake with my son for his birthday, a cookie or ice cream, still enjoy a glass of wine or something of the sort, travel to see my family and enjoy food out and not freak out. It's like, what am I gonna eat? Oh,
And
I'm gonna
not
have
have to
my
eat in a
basket.
window, right? Right, Jose? Like not in a bubble, because we got ER docs, we got travel docs, we got locum docs, we got doctors living out of hotels, right? You guys have all crazy schedules, right? Different schedules. So if we box you in one thing, like it's not going to work for everybody. Would you agree? So
Yeah. And it's the other part to that equation is like it's not about being perfect, as coach has said multiple times, but it's the consistency, you know. I know that I can indulge in a small piece of carrot cake. It's one of my favorite. I'm not gonna indulge on it every single day. And I know that if I indulge of it, I just gotta understand that I may I'm gonna have some changes next day, maybe on the scale, maybe not. But
yeah.
if I do, I know what to do. If I don't, even better.
Do you feel empowered now for the like? Is this the first time you're feeling like this? Like you got the knowledge? Like
I do. Look, even and how how good it is to be able to enjoy food. I enjoy it, not really, you know, I'm I'm not a full-blown foodie, but I still enjoy food. Right? It's
Right.
not enjoy the food and really say, you know, I enjoy the food. I cook and I prep and and not seeing it like sure I need to prep so that I can keep my diet. No, I'm prepping because I'm enjoying what I'm doing when I'm doing it. It becomes a little bit of family time as well. My fiance likes when I cook because when I join to cook or she joins to cook with me and we split things and the process. So it becomes also a family time. Even for my kids, you know, I have a super finicky kid. So now hey, you're gonna try this. I'm not giving you an option. You're trying it.
Oh, good.
Awesome.
But I
Awesome.
know what it is in it. You know, I
Yeah.
know what his tastes are. I know his in his case what his taste buds are choosing, but I can cater around that and it's easy for me. You know, but even then, that's being helpful where I can look, I went to travel, I went to see my family in Puerto Rico. So airport time, kid tells me I'm hungry. Okay, so let's see what we got.
Right.
All
Now
of
you
that is
feel
fast food.
empowered. Now you feel by you feeling empowered, now you can actually empower your kid now, right? You're in a
Mhm.
position where you're like, listen, I know what to do because I'm literally doing it, and this is my kid. I know you're super finicky, right? But if it required someone to eat very specific foods in order to not be overweight, I mean, we would all be overweight, right? Because everyone's
Mhm.
got different food preferences. So it's about knowing how to eat so that way you feel empowered, make the right decisions, and not feel like you have to be perfect. So Jose, I mean, now like how do you feel, man? I mean, before we talked about like you feeling tired and feeling a
Oh,
certain
I feel
how do you feel?
awesome.
Yeah.
I feel awesome. Like I broke my plateaus on my workouts. I got to being able to do 46 push-ups in 45 seconds. That's being like
Huge.
That is
Let's
tough.
like
go, man. That's what
Nice
I'm talking
job,
about.
guys. In
Nice.
the comments,
Yeah.
give us some muscle emojis for Jose, man.
There you
46.
so
go. Let's do it.
How much did
Muzzle
you
so
say?
emojis.
46 in how long?
45 seconds.
That's
You're
almost
doing
a
a push
push-up
up a
a
second.
second. Woo!
Yeah.
All right.
Yep.
How about like
Nice.
And
You're doing.
and
blood
that
pressure?
was and that's the thing, being able to do that. And that's one of I have to do 50, 30 sit-ups, 25 burpees, and three other combinations of striking 10 times each of those three combinations, all of that in 5 minutes. So if
Wow.
I'm wasting already half of the time on just doing push-ups, sit-ups, and burpees because I can barely handle that, imagine just like, ooh, I'm able to do the push-ups in 46 push-ups in 45 seconds. That was like when I broke that threshold, that was like, oh
That's
man.
amazing, man. That does something to you, something to your confidence, something to like, man, it's possible, just 8 weeks ago, right? You were struggling with it. And now you're like on the verge of getting your black belt certification. Jose, one thing you said in one of our coaching calls, which we have with all the private doctors in our program, we have it after this call, is that you said, I'm feeling a little lightheaded.
Oh
And,
yeah.
and why do you think you're lightheaded?
So I do take blood pressure medications because one of the issues that I got is I'm overly sensitive to sodium. And I cut my sodium down significantly. Right? Because I figure out with coach guidance, I figure out where my sources of sodium were. So I managed to cut a lot of it. And it's not like I cook with salt. I barely sprinkle salt. So my kids, like my oldest, he likes when I cook because I do flavor, but I don't put salt. And mom does a little bit more bland and uses salt. So we get that competition. And it's like, okay, is it oldest approved or not? So
Jose,
it,
but hold up, Jose. I know salt can impact blood pressure, but come on, man.
no, I
You
was
think
really sensitive.
I know, but think of it. I know salt is a component, but 18 pounds
Well,
over
that true.
or salt.
Yeah.
That
Which one
true.
is it, Jose? I know
And off the
salt
It's
plays a
stomach,
both.
mainly,
role.
Jose, right? Off the
It is
midsection,
both.
man.
Don't get me wrong. I don't deny the weight being part of that issue, right? But
Right.
so I was getting to the point when I was doing burpees and I would get a little bit lightheaded. It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
So, and I checked my blood pressure. My blood pressure had indeed improved, still not enough to remove completely the medications. We're working on that. And that's
Yeah.
part of the next stage that I'm working.
Definitely.
But, you know, it's,
By the way, he's lost now 23 pounds, like almost 23. So he's dropped more than just the 17.8, I think originally was in 8 weeks. So now it's almost 23.
Here you're looking to build muscle, Jose.
Yeah, and
yeah,
now he's
now I'm
looking to
gonna,
bulk and build muscle. He said enough's enough.
Jose,
I've lost everything I need to lose, so it's great. Now we're just moving on to hypertrophy. So
Jose, we're both in South Florida, man. Well, I'm building muscle too. We'll go to the beach. We take some nice photos on the beach looking ripped and big.
hey,
so,
Jose, we're gonna wrap up here in a few minutes because, as you know, we got to jump on our private call
Yep.
with the docs here. So just a quick few rapid fire questions. I'll spit one out. Mohammed, you spit one out.
Right.
We'll go a few rounds like this. You ready, Jose? We're gonna have some really quick answers. Just give me the answer,
bring it.
okay? Were you starving during this program?
I was not at all.
Okay,
Did you need
there you go.
any gym equipment or need to do multiple workouts every week?
Nope. No equipment. Workouts were already scheduled and prepared 3 times a week. Easy,
Yep.
straightforward.
And you weren't a hermit, like you never traveled back to your country like Puerto Rico. You just stayed in your office all day, or did you travel?
I did 3 trips already in the time frame.
Right. So you didn't have to be a hermit and be perfect and be in home and prep and all this stuff. By the way, Dr. Bolt is Puerto Rican, right? Did you get a chance to eat Puerto Rican food and still lose weight?
Absolutely, man. I will say I kind of picked
Absolutely.
out on seafood one
Right.
day with my fiance, and it was like so good.
Yeah, that's awesome. And guys, this is what we're getting at. Like, I mean, all the docs come to us prior to, like, coaching with us, and that's their fear. Like, if you're Italian, if you're Puerto Rican, if you're white, black, it doesn't matter where you're from, right? You should be eating the foods that you're used to eating, but you got to learn how to, right, enjoy them sensibly. And we teach you those methods where you don't have to eliminate anything completely. You like pizza? Great. Cheeseburger here and there? Great. Even once a week, no problem, right? But we build that discipline. We show you how to do it, right? The proven methods, I can't take credit for it, guys. I'm just, we put it in a program and fine tuned it for our doctors, right? So it fits in their schedule, fits in their lifestyle. But it has been there, it's not, rocket science, but we tweak it so it works with your lifestyle. And that's what works, guys. So anyways, any last words, Mohammed?
Yeah, one last thing. For any docs who are listening right now, if you want just a program that works for your specific lifestyle as a busy male physician who's balancing not only his professional life, but also his personal life, and just wants it handled to you on a silver platter, right? Not only that, right, but also the accountability to apply that knowledge. Because like we always say, the knowledge, we have over 50 trainings in this Facebook group. It's all there, right? If you want something on sleep, say sleep. If you want something on how to eat a nutritious plan, I get stumbled because I don't want to say diet, because we don't preach diet. We preach lifestyle, right? So if you want that, just let us know. But docs, the secret formula here is application. And if you need help with the application, with the accountability, join doctors who are in a similar boat as you, then we're going to drop our booking link in the chat below. So that way you can have a consultation with either me or Coach Seif, and we can see if this program will be a good fit for you. Okay? Jose, last thing. What advice do you have for any docs who are on the fence? They know they need to make a change, but just something is holding them back. What advice do you have for them?
Man, jump into the boat. Not jump the boat, jump into the boat.
Nice.
Not
jump out, jump in. There you go. I love
jump
it.
in. What do you gotta lose? Right? And honestly, I don't think you lose anything, because one way or another, you're still taking care of your health and it's still benefiting you.
Yeah. Awesome, man.
Exactly.
Well, appreciate it. Last question. When's the black belt test?
I don't have a set date. I think it's probably next month or so.
Nice. All right. We're going to be cheering you on, man. You said you feel better than ever, and you're very confident about getting to the black belt test, man. So we want to see that black belt pictures of you in that gi, man. Okay, when you're done.
Absolutely.
All right, Jose. Well, we
All right.
appreciate you coming out, man, and you continue to coach with us because now it's a new phase, guys. Let goals reinvent themselves, right? Once we hit another goal, we can hit other goals in the future. So now Jose is looking to bulk up a little bit, gain some of those muscles, right? That he wants to.
Oh, yeah.
And we're working towards that. So it's been amazing. You've been an amazing client. You're a great friend to us. Even you guys become friends and family to us, right, in our community. So appreciate you, Jose. Thank you, man.
Thank you, coach.
Thanks.
All right.
Take care.
Thank you, everyone.
All right, bye-bye.